students appearing in Jan 26. So this particular video is a very quick video on the academic update which has been printed in the Jan 26 RTP. So two topics where they have printed academic update. One is audit of NBFC and second is professional ethics. All right. So first let us very much clear up professional ethics. Clause 9 part 1 first schedule which deals with CA in practice who is accepting statutory audit of companies, audit of financial statement of companies, और किसी के साथ डील नहीं करता. It does not deal with anything else. It just deals with audit of financial statements of companies. So clause 9 part 1 first schedule earlier had Companies Act 2050, Companies Act 1956 sorry references. Now they have given Companies Act 2013 references. But earlier there was only section 139 and 140 in the provision. Now they have included 139 to 141 in the provision. What is the impact of this in your exams? Absolutely no change in the impact. Even earlier I used to say that 139, 140 and 141 of Companies Act 2013, all three sections are always read together. Alright. So if you are not qualified, you are disqualified as per section 141, then if you accept the appointment as an auditor of that company, alright, then obviously you are violating clause 9 part 1 first schedule because the appointment will be invalid as per section 139. So whenever you accept audit of any company, you have to be 100% sure that this is a valid appointment. 139, that the previous auditor, if he was removed or he has resigned, that was also as per law. 140, all right, and you yourself, you should be eligible, qualified and not disqualified, that is 141. But how this impacts your case study based questions? You should have very good knowledge of company audit. You can go to my YouTube playlist, CA Inter Audit Marathon. There you will get company audit detailed discussions. But let me just show you one demo how this can impact your papers. So there is one very famous question, all right, in the question bank, that CA Raja is the proposed auditor of ABC Limited, all right. CA Raja was also appointed at the AGM. This is final CA question. CA Raja was also appointed at the AGM. Then company sends an appointment letter to Raja. Alright, company sends an appointment letter to Raja. Raja rejects the appointment. He does not provide consent. वो consent नहीं देता है. Rejects the appointment. Okay. Then what should happen now? Now listen to me. The company considers this as a casual vacancy. Alright. And they appoint another auditor, CA Rani. Alright. Within 30 days, the board of directors appoint the auditor within 30 days. Now let us say you are CA Rani and you have accepted this appointment. Is this a valid appointment? The answer is no, because as per section 139 subsection 10, all right, if the auditor cannot be appointed at the AGM, then it is the existing auditor who is deemed as reappointed. Who is deemed as reappointed. कोई ना कोई, there would be someone as existing auditor. Let us say CA Wazir was the existing auditor. If existing auditor cannot be reappointed, if Wazir cannot be reappointed, then it leads to casual vacancy. Then board of directors can appoint another auditor within 30 days. So what I am trying to tell you is that clause 9 kitna bhi by heart kar lo, 139 to 141 of Companies Act 2013, but you should have detailed knowledge of company audit provisions. This is what I want to tell you. Amendment is fine, but you should have detailed knowledge of company audit provisions. You can go to my YouTube playlist and refer my company audit marathon, all right, of Inter CA, and you will get good knowledge about it, because these points I have discussed over there. So do you understand that in this case study, Rani cannot accept this appointment. It is an invalid appointment, and therefore Rani will be held guilty under clause 9 part 1 first schedule. Am I clear with this? Yes, sir. Because she has accepted an invalid appointment. So this is something that is a very, very important provision. All right. Now there is one more thing. So for this you will refer my company audit revision video. Now there is one more thing. They have said that if you accept an auditor of a company without first ascertaining from it whether these sections have been complied, or any other law pertaining to appointment of auditors for the time being in force. Sir, what is the impact of this? All right. Let me give you a very simple example. All right. Let us say that there is a maximum number of company audit limit also. Okay. That you can accept only these many number of audit of company is given in Companies Act. It is also given in Council General Guidelines. If you violate that limit, you are basically violating the provision. You are accepting an invalid appointment. So by including this, any other law pertaining to appointment of the auditors for the time being in force in respect of such appointment, by including this line, they have said that jo bhi law, whichever law is applicable for accepting audit of companies, everything they have covered under clause 9 part 1 first schedule. Earlier they had given references only to Companies Act provision. Now they have said that clause abhi bhi ek hi cheez ke sath deal karta hai, that is audit of financial statement of companies. But audit of financial statement of companies ko accept karne ke liye, for accepting audit of financial statement of companies, whichever law is applicable, whether Companies Act or any other law pertaining to that. All right. If you violate it and if you still accept it, you will be held guilty under clause 9 part 1 first schedule. I hope I have made myself very, very clear. Second amendment, part 2 of second schedule. Part 2 of second schedule had 4 clauses. Clause 1 was about violating other provisions of professional misconduct. Clause 2 was breaching employer's confidentiality. Clause 3 knowingly provides incorrect information to the ICAI and other bodies as per CA Act 1949. Clause 4, defalcation of cash or embezzlement of cash in professional capacity. Now they have included one more clause, that is clause 5 part 2 second schedule. Sir, what is there in this clause? Clause 5 says member of the institute shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if you act as an auditor of the company in contravention of the provisions of Companies Act 2013. Sir, when they have already given a clause 9, what was the need of clause 5? Now listen to me very carefully. Clause 9 is restricted to section 139 to 141 and any other provision which deals with acceptance of appointment. यानी कि जब आप appointment accept कर रहे हो, any provision with respect to acceptance of appointment, that is clause 9 part 1 first schedule. But when you are acting as an auditor, means जब आप audit कर रहे हो, all right, if you violate any provision of Companies Act 2013, then this clause 5 part 2 second schedule gets attracted. Sir, for example, there are rights and duties of auditor. There are other provisions governing your performance as an auditor as per Companies Act 2013. So if you act as an auditor in contravention of any provisions of Companies Act 2013, then this gets attracted. I will give you 2 case studies. One, this Raja Rani case study, which is purely a concept of clause 9 part 1 first schedule. Second, let us say you are violating your rights, duties and stuff, and you are acting as an auditor in contravention of Companies Act 2013, then in that case, this clause will get hit. Clause 5 part 2 second schedule. I hope I have made myself very, very clear. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So these are the 2 things to be noted, my lord. That means one thing is very clear, that before you step into Jan 26 exams or any exams henceforth, it is very important that you have some good knowledge or at least basic knowledge of company audit provisions. Yes, sir. Okay, so this is one point. Second, with respect to audit of NBFC. Now listen to me very carefully. In audit of NBFC, May 2025 attempt, they had given a completely amended chapter. If you go to my YouTube channel, all right, if you go to my YouTube channel, Over there, I have already uploaded one fully amended video in May 25 attempt itself for audit of NBFC. जहाँ पे जो main amendments है, classification of NBFC, in fact full chapter itself, tier 1, tier 2, capital adequacy, all right, everything I have put it over there, and I had created this Brahmastra notes also, which I have uploaded on my Telegram channel. First, you should have good knowledge about that. Okay. Then second is this one. All right, this particular amendment. Now, actually, this was more like a clarification which they had to include it over here. Now, what happens is, I am assuming that you have some knowledge of the May 25 NBFC topic. Okay. Now, what happens is, when we look into NBFC chapter, all right, I will just search this word. बीच में ना, they keep on writing something about NBFC-MFI, NBFC-MFI. They keep on writing something about NBFC-MFI, NBFC-MFI. All right, microfinance. However, they did not give a proper definition of it. Now, NBFC-MFI has been. Sir, what will be the impact of this amendment? For example, if I look over here, tier 1 capital in respect of NBFC except NBFC-MFI. Let me search it one more time. NBFC. All right. So, कहीं जगह पे NBFC-MFI excluded है. All right. So that is why it is very important that we look at these things properly. All right. 1 minute, beta. See, asset classification, substandard, doubtful loss. Again, except NBFC-MFI. That is why you should have a good knowledge about the definition of NBFC-MFI. मैं anyways मेरे lecture में थोड़ा तो बता ही देता था that NBFC microfinance institution, first of all, is an institution which is engaged in giving microfinance loans. So now, what is the meaning of microfinance loan? All right. So microfinance loan is a collateral free loan. Again, this is not printed in the module, just giving you for just as a rough English. Collateral free loan, security free loan, which is given to lower income household. The ऐसा घर परिवार income household where the annual income is only up to rupees 3 lakhs. All right. To them, if the loan has been given, then it will be covered as a microfinance loan. All right. This is not completely as per RBI circular, just a brief idea. So, if the NBFC is engaged in giving microfinance loans, all right, then that is called as NBFC-MFI, but they have given the percentage of assets of NBFC that should be deployed for these loans. Very simple calculation. So, कोई भी NBFC का balance sheet side ले लो, look at their asset side. In that asset, जो loans दिया होगा, loans for microfinance, all right, microfinance loans, all right, उसका total लो, microfinance loan का total लो, that should be minimum 60% of its total assets, netted off by intangible assets. So, whatever is this total, this should be 60% of total assets minus intangible assets. All right. And it should be properly followed at all times. For 4 quarters, if this is not followed, all right, then they have to go to the RBI and give a rectification plan. But that is fine. Main, you should be focused on the definition. I will now read the definition. NBFC-MFI is a non-deposit taking NBFC, cannot take public deposits, which has a minimum of 60% of its total assets, netted off by intangible assets on an ongoing basis, deployed towards microfinance loans as defined under RBI directions. See, NBFC, I am just teaching student friendly. If I want to take NBFC seminar, it is even 20 hours are not enough. Okay. तो एक ये डेफिनेशन का इम्पैक्ट आएगा, एक इम्पैक्ट क्लियरली दिख रहा है. वी कैन क्लियरली सी दिस, लाइक असेट क्लासिफिकेशन, असेट प्रोविजनिंग, सब जगह दे हैव पुट एक्सेप्ट NBFC-MFI. ऑलराइट, सो दिस यू शुड नो दैट ओके व्हिच इज NBFC-MFI. दैट इज वन अमेंडमेंट इम्पैक्ट. सेकेंड अमेंडमेंट इम्पैक्ट. ओके, नाउ when you look at my these notes and video and stuff, you will realize that there is a very big calculation of the minimum capital, right, of the minimum capital that the NBFC is supposed to maintain. वो पूरा calculation, how it is done, alright, I have explained it in the video nicely, alright, which was uploaded in May 25, along with all the calculations, along with one very good question from mock test paper of May 25. Alright, you should see that properly. That is always an A category question. पर इसमें खाली अमेंडमेंट क्या आया है, नथिंग मेजर. इन दैट मेंटेनेंस ऑफ कैपिटल, टीयर 1 कैपिटल All right, tier 1 plus tier 2 capital, both of them taken together should be minimum 15% of some calculation. Okay. Now, tier 1 capital, they are saying it should be minimum 12% in case of specifically such NBFCs which are engaged in lending against gold jewelry. All right. So, I go to the amendment. That same thing has been printed. Just that 1 or 2 lines extra they have printed over there. All right. That how it should be calculated and stuff. But whatever is there in my May 25 video, that continues as it is. Do not get too much into it as of now. Otherwise, unnecessarily it creates complication. If I see any question anywhere, something very specific to this, then I will give you a clarification video. Otherwise, it is not required. Relax upon it. There is no major amendment over here. All right. That is one thing. Second, ये जो tier 1, tier 2 capital का calculation है ना, tier 1, tier 2 capital calculation, for that there is one very important figure which is called as risk weighted assets. उसमें हम assets को multiplied by risk weightage करते हैं. All right. So in the module they have given this risk weightage, which was one of the September 25 MCQ question also. In that other assets ko they had given 100% risk. All right. Sorry here. Other assets ko they had given 100% risk weightage. Under that others, they have now specified one asset. Very simple. Including ROU, right of use assets. You know what is right of use assets. You have attended in Ind AS more than what I know. All right. So, best example of right to use asset is the underlying leased asset. All right. So, when you have a right to use for a specified period, so अगर ऐसे assets भी recognized है, allowed है to be recognized, but the risk weightage will be 100%. All right. So, that is what the amendment impact is. I request that for NBFC amendments, first you should see my proper revision video of May 25. For the last couple of batches, 3 batches which I had done from May 25 till December 25. All right. Anyways, you have been given updated NBFC topic only, but you should include this amendment over there. According to me, the major amendment, the major clarification was about that they have given the definition of NBFC-MFI. All right, which is very clearly given, which was not given earlier in the textbook. Okay, so that is it with respect to amendments. This was a short video on amendments. Later RTP videos, some revision videos, things will follow. Okay, all the very best. Thank you so much.